It began in 1889 as a multicultural village on the remote and misty shores of British Columbia's north coast. In its heyday, it was a seasonal home to as many as 700 workers when the salmon were running. After 83 years, the North Pacific Cannery in Port Edward near the city of Prince Rupert shut down, the last of 19 canneries that thrived here at the mouth of the Skeena River. In 1989, a century after it opened, it was declared a National Historic Site. By then, an ambitious restoration project was already underway. And with 1,600 pilings, 24 buildings, wooden wharves, floats, and boardwalks, restoring and maintaining the North Pacific Cannery Village is an ongoing task.
The real work began when a small group of really far-sighted individuals, visionaries, said this is worth saving, and went about doing all the things they needed to do politically and in the community to develop a groundswell that said, let's save this place. This was a bustling center. Within sight of us, there were 5 active canneries, each with a resident population slightly less than 1,000. Around the corner, there were others. And on a regular basis, a little fleet of fish boats would be hauled out. They were row sailboats, would be hauled out by the single powered vessel and would be taken up to the mouth of the Skeena River where the fishing commenced. And it was a bustling, active community. I think more than anything else, North Pacific speaks of the history of the North Coast and the people of the North Coast. It tells the story of the culture and the history of the fishing industry, which is what brought together a unique blend of people living together here, canning fish, fishing, boat building, canning fish, raising their families together. People from Chinese, Japanese, First Nations, and European families, and the cultural exchange that happened around that. The North Coast has been absolutely shaped today by that whole cultural coming together, whether it's art forms or food or lifestyle. It's all been shaped by this contact that happened here in the late 1800s, not that long after the first Europeans entered the area. The site as it exists today is primarily the actual cannery building, and that in itself evolved over the course of time, but the original structure dates back to 1889. The processes involved in this cannery were similar to those in most others. It was completely self-contained, which means that the fish had to be caught. In order to catch fish, nets had to be made, boats had to be built, and that was all done using largely the materials from the environment, and particularly with the boat building. And fishing had to be done. When the fish was brought in, it was butchered, canned in cans that were made here on site. Originally in the 1800s were made by hand, soldered together by a group of Chinese men who came in early in the season and actually sat with tin snips largely and created cans. And then that product was, after being canned, was cooked, holes punched in it to allow that gases and steam to vent, a little drop of lead put in to keep it sealed, and then shipped off to market. And again, originally, it shipped off by water because the waterways were the only highways up in this area at that time. We very much see ourselves as creating memories for people. That's the business that we're in when it comes to visitation. And so we want them to have a real experience here. We want them to have touched and tasted and smelt this very unique site. And we hope that they leave with a sense of wonder at the tenacity of the original people that settled here in this very remote area in 1889, that they have a sense of the coming together of the different cultures and how those people made things work. And then also that they also have a sense too of the segregation that occurred, and hopefully that there's some lessons to learn in the way that we treat people even today. When a visitor walks through our site, they have an incredible sense of the past and what it was like to be here. I mean, look around us. There are no new structures built within sight of here. We really do try and rally around to develop here a world-class, self-sustaining cannery village that entertains, educates, and employs. And so in that, we hope that as visitors come onto our site, they have a great time. We hope that we slip in some education in ways that aren't too painful, that they really walk away feeling changed by their experience. And that in the process of doing that, we create employment for the region as we draw visitors in and help them to stay a little longer, and also expose them to some of the culture of this incredible north coast of Canada.